Mr. Speaker, I will start with question number 10, then I'll come to the rest. The State Department of Roads, through its 3 implementing agencies, has an ongoing roads portfolio of over 800 projects with an outstanding cost of approximately 763 billion shillings as at 28th of February 2023. Sorry. The Speaker, the reason for the emphasis of 763 billion and the date given of 28 February is because with interest the figure keeps changing, Mr. Speaker, as time goes. Out of this outstanding, an amount of 150 billion is related to certified works, actually 145 billion related to certified works not yet paid. That is the pending bills. Most of the 800 projects are currently on slow implementation, while others have completely stopped due to inability of the government to avail adequate budget over the years. We note, Mr. Speaker, that some of these contracts have stalled for over 5 years and some almost 10 years, 9 approaching 10 years, Mr. Speaker, and I have provided the annex, Mr. Speaker. It will be tabled to the House. One of our officers has the annex here, and these roads, Mr. Speaker, if you allow me just for people to appreciate where it's coming from, roads like, Mr. Speaker, in Bungoma, Luahaka, Kariosionde, Tulienge, Sirisha, up to Chwele, Mr. Speaker, have been pending since 2017. Or roads, Mr. Speaker, like the Natu Bridge, Kagwata, Mulika Market in Meru, Mr. Speaker, which was also from 2016. Or roads like Kilgoris, Olgorian, which is, for example, Mr. Speaker, from 2020. Or roads, Mr. Speaker, like the one in Danger, Chemuswa, Cheptiret, Keses, Lesos, and Cheptiret Mo University, Makin and Hills in Nandi County, Mr. Speaker, which have been stalling from 2016. So these are just but some of the examples of stalled roads. And honorable members, a number of them have come to the office and we've discussed these issues. Contractors are owed currently 145 billion in terms of pending bills, with local contractors being owed 50 billion and foreign contractors being owed 60 billion. Part of the pending bills, Mr. Speaker, which is 35 billion, is, Mr. Speaker, owed to matters related to land acquisition. Mr. Speaker, the actions we are taking are as follows. In line with the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto, we have committed ourselves to complete all the ongoing projects. Number 2, we are having, Mr. Speaker, negotiations with contractors. Within the last 6 months, Mr. Speaker, when we have been able to secure some amount, we have given the magnitude of the pending bills, Mr. Speaker, given the magnitude of the pending bills, this amount was spread thin among service providers, and contractors could not be able to go back to site and resume works. And remember, Mr. Speaker, this spreading thin is not as a result of decision of the ministry, it's the budgeting by this august House. Consequently, Mr. Speaker, as a result of that situation, we have had to resort to a situation where we are requesting the National Treasury to allow us to negotiate with contractors who are willing to resume works. It is through the resumption plan that a few road projects across the country have resumed, and you've seen some of them. We are launching them. Mr. Speaker, it's important to say this in this very important chamber, that, Mr. Speaker, you have seen us even relaunch projects that were initially launched almost 8 years ago because they were long forgotten, like the case where the President was launching a project in Nyandarua County recently. And I know many people are concerned why it's being launched again, because, Mr. Speaker, if a project has stayed for more than 7, 8 years, it's long forgotten. And, Mr. Speaker, it needs to be given a new lease of life. It is like, Mr. Speaker, being redone for the first time. Mr. Speaker, working with the National Treasury and in keeping with the economic plans of the government in the current financial year, Mr. Speaker, to stop borrowing, it is expected that in the next financial year, the economic situation will have improved to enable resumption of access to funding on affordable terms. And Mr. Speaker, we know that, Mr. Speaker, as a result of the financial situation we have and the economic situation we have in the country, there was a decision, Mr. Speaker, to stop continued digging of the financial hole. And as a result of that, Mr. Speaker, projects have been unable to resume on time. But we have, pursuant to advice from Treasury, we've been patient, Mr. Speaker, because we were told if we keep in with the financial plan that the Treasury has for this financial year, in the beginning of the next financial year, we might be able to access financial support and lending, Mr. Speaker, at affordable terms for us to borrow and clear the remaining projects. Mr. Speaker, another measure we've undertaken is that, Mr. Speaker, we are not starting any new project unless they are funded by developing partners on concessional terms, or if this House, Mr. Speaker, allocates funds to deal with emergencies such as security roads or access to new government projects, for example, dams, hospitals, public institutions, or new housing projects. We appreciate, Mr. Speaker, the bilateral and multilateral development partners for their immense support on concessional terms. This has enabled us to start new projects that otherwise we could not have done. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, to use this opportunity to mention the Horn of Africa Gateway Development Projects, which are funded by World Bank and African Development Bank as an example of this concessional support, and we have other bilateral support we receive from other lenders across the country. Cognizant of this financial situation, which, Mr. Speaker, has built up over the last 5 years, our first duty as a responsible government is to stop the situation from deteriorating further through concessional and unaffordable borrowing. Mr. Speaker, we decided recently to access the annuity fund to enable us, Mr. Speaker, continue this project. A meeting will take place tomorrow to ask the committee responsible for annuity fund to allow us to access 12 billion that is in the annuity account. This amount will enable us to pay some of the pending bills and hence bring some contractors back on site. And a number of projects will soon resume. Mr. Speaker, in this arrangement, I want to thank the contractors, Mr. Speaker, who, despite the situation we have been facing, decided to continue with the projects even way long after we've not been able to pay them. I want to, Mr. Speaker, you will see the report I have tabled. Some of the contractors, we owe them up to 17 billion shillings. Mr. Speaker, some of the local contractors, we owe them up to 5 billion. I totally appreciate them for their patience, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank some of the banks that, as a result of our intervention, have been kind to their contractors, because a number of them could easily have lost their property, Mr. Speaker, through auction as a result of non-payment of the facilities they have received because of our situation. Mr. Speaker, the tabulation of the same will be tabled, Mr. Speaker, and each member of this House will have an opportunity through your kind office to see, Mr. Speaker, the projects that they are in their counties or their constituencies, and, Mr. Speaker, understand the situation where it is. This situation, I repeat, Mr. Speaker, is unfortunately an inherited situation. The ministry, I know many Kenyans are asking themselves, why is the ministry not facilitating construction of roads immediately? This question would have been asked 5 years ago, Mr. Speaker, in 2016, 2017, 2020, when all these projects stalled. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, our job is not to continue writing the book of lamentations that this was not done 5 years ago, 7 years, 8 years ago. Is to appreciate the magnitude of the situation at the moment and work around the clock to negotiate with the contractors and request those that still have capacity to finance themselves to go on site, Mr. Speaker. Even in this 12 billion, I want to assure our members here, even the 12 billion we are going to receive, it's a drop in the ocean compared to a payment of, Mr. Speaker, to contractors of over 90 billion directly of already certificates that are due. But There are some contractors who are ready on negotiation. If we pay them certain figure and they have more than one road, Mr. Speaker, they will be willing to go on site. And Mr. Speaker, I've seen Honorable Member of Kajiado North sitting here. He knows that, Mr. Speaker, one of the contractors we negotiated for his road to be constructed and for the contractor to be on site. Now going to the other specific questions, that Mr. Speaker, is the global situation as requested as asked by Honorable John Juguna. Now let me go to the specific questions of the projects that have been mentioned by honorable members, starting with 73 of 2023 by Honorable Paul Obor of Rongo. Mr. Speaker, the contract for upgrading bitumen standard and performance-based routine maintenance of Rio Siri, Moi University, Rongo campus, Ogwedi to God Job Center Road was awarded to Mystical Corporations, Mr. Speaker, in 2019 at a tender sum of 1.1 billion. The upgrading commenced on 20th August 2019 and was scheduled to be completed in 30 months. That is by 20th February 2022, with a defect liability period of 12 months and a maintenance period of 36 months. To date, Mr. Speaker, 42 months have elapsed, being 143% of contract period against an overall progress of approximately 68%, with 18.2 kilometers of blacktop achieved out of the total scope of 30 kilometers of Ogwedi Good Job Center section of the project, totaling to 12 kilometers, has been substantially completed and are awaiting handing over to the employer, that is KERA, and that will enable us to continue maintenance. To date, Mr. Speaker, the amount certified for payment, which is pending, Mr. Speaker, to this contractor is 696 billion shillings, Mr. Speaker. I also wish to add that the contractor suspended works on site effective October 2021. That is, Mr. Speaker, more than a year ago, due to financial constraint attributed to delayed payment of IPCs, which affected their cash flow. Currently, the contractor is owed 347 billion in lieu of the works done. Number two, Mr. Speaker, KERA intends to take over the parts of the work that have been substantially completed, as I've already indicated, for the Ogwedi God Job Center section for the project totaling 12 kilometers, upon which the contractor will be able to claim and receive part of the retention monies held by the authority and with which the contractor has received instructions to resume works on site. These are innovative ways we are applying for the contractor to be able to come on site. Further, KERA has provided provision of Kenya shillings 132 million shillings in the budget for the financial year 2022-2023 for the project, and once the exchequer has released the funds for the above, the contractor will be able to proceed with the remaining works. Due to the financial constraints experienced by the contractor because of the delay in payment, he has applied for extension of time, understandably, of 639 days, and an evaluation of the same is ongoing, Mr. Speaker. And these 639 days are also already running, they are increasing. So the process will be considered as we continue, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on question 77 of 2023 by Honorable Gideon Mulyunki again, Mr. Speaker, I will respond as follows. That is in relation to Kilisasi Mumbisi Road, phase 1 and 2. Mr. Speaker, the contract sum of phase 1 of the Kilisasi Mumbini Road, Kiseveni Kalisai Primary School section is 74 million shillings 953,255. The contract for the construction of the 1.7 kilometer road was awarded to Ms. Simora Group Limited and commenced on 16th August 2021. The contract sum of phase 2 of the Kalisasi Mumbuni Road, Kalisasi Ikime section is 38,172,976 and 95 cents. The contract for the construction of the 1 kilometer road was awarded to Ms. M&J Holding Limited and commenced on 30th September 2022. The contract period of phase 1 was 18 months, and the works are expected to be completed by 16th of February 2023. The contractor has completed all the instructed major works and has requested for substantial completion inspection, which will be conducted at the end of this month. The contract period of phase 2 was 9 months, and the works are expected to be completed by June 2023. The phase 3 contract terminates at Ikime Center, which is 1 kilometer short to Mumbuni Shopping Center. KERA will consider extending the road to Mumbuni Shopping Center once the funds become available. Further, KERA extended the phase 1 contract by 0.44 kilometers at a cost of 11.2 million to close the gap between Kalisasi Primary School and Kalisasi Center. The total length of the phase 1 contract is therefore 2.14 kilometer. The Speaker, on the question 78 of stock 2023 by the same honorable member of Mwingi Central, Mr. Speaker, the contract of the upgrading to bitumen standards and performance-based routine maintenance of Nguni New Road E4119 Road was awarded to Ms. Admo Construction Limited on 16th May 2017 at a contract sum of 1,484,617,735. The upgrading works commenced on 14th July 2017 and were scheduled to be completed 30 months up to the 14th of January 2020, with defects liability period of 12 months and a maintenance period of 36 months. To date, 69 months have elapsed, being 230% of the contract period against an overall progress of 76%, with 22.46 kilometers blacktop achieved out of the total scope of 35 kilometers. The contract for the emergency construction of Nziu Bridge and approach road was awarded to Ms. Q Construction Limited on 23rd December 2021 at a contract sum of 578 million shillings, 951,128. The works commenced on 5th April 2022 and were scheduled to be completed in 18 months up to 5th October 2023, with defect liability period of 24 months. To date, 12 months, 66% of the contract period has elapsed against an overall progress of 26%. In regard to the contract for the upgrading to bitumen standard and performance-based routine maintenance of New Road E4119 Road, the contractor suspended works effective October 2021 due to financial constraints attributed to delayed payment of pending IPCs, which affected their cash flow. To date, the amount certified for payment is 612,494,144 cents, which is 40.25% of the contract sum. And as 14 April 2023, the contractor is yet to be paid a total of 175 million shillings, 878 and 72 shillings and 57 cents. The ministry through the KERA has provided a provision of 72 million shillings in the budget for financial year 2022-2023 for the project, and once there is an exchequer release funds and payment is made, the contractor shall resume works immediately. As for the emergency construction of Nziu Bridge and approach road, the amount certified for payment is 97,955,692 and 21 cents, which is 16.92% of the contract sum of 578,951 and 128. And as of 14th April 2023, the contractor is yet to be paid a total sum of 23 million shillings. The ministry through KERA has provided a provision for 92 million in the budget for financial year 2022-2023 for the project, and once there is exchequer release for funds and payment is made, the contractor shall resume works immediately. The two contracts do not have any provision for corporate social responsibility, and the contractors have not indicated any desire to do the same. Mr. Speaker, I will move to question number 79 of 2023 from Honorable Charles Ngusha, otherwise known as CNN, on Mwingi West. Mr. Speaker, the outstanding works for the section of the Kibwezi, Kitui, Kabati, Migwani, Mbondoni Road was a variation to the scope of works under the addendum number 3 at a cost of 3,141,024,203 and 86 cents, and it's to be funded by the government of Kenya. The scope of works is summarized as follows: Migwani Bondoni section to junction with A3 is 20.9 kilometers. The main road to Ndolo's Corner Road, Tulia Town and Migwani Town Road is 12.87 kilometers. The 10 kilometers have been completed from Migwani Town to Tulia Town, including some town roads, and therefore the percentage of physical work completed for this additional section is 29.6%, bringing the total completion of the entire project to 90.5%, which of course if you consider the main road of the project. The project end of defect notification period is on 4th October 2023 this year. However, the contractor has suspended works due to the following reasons: delayed payment of certificates amounting to 1,155,896,907, delayed land acquisition, and delayed land acquisition. The above two factors are likely to affect the contract period. However, the government has provided 150 million for financial year 2023-2024 for resumption of work. Mr. Speaker, I move to the question asked by the member for Suna West, Honorable Peter Masara. Mr. Speaker, on the construction of the bridge. Mr. Speaker, from our perspective, the road and the bridge go together. And for that reason, Mr. Speaker, I'll respond as follows. That is question number 80 of 2023. The Kokendi-Arombe Bridge was procured by Kera as construction of Munyu Bridge and approach roads on Kokendi-Arombe Road. The contractor slowed down the rate of works due to financial constraint attributed to delayed payment of pending IPCs, which affected their cash flow. To date, the amount certified for payment is 12,463,881 and 87 cents, 62% of contract sum of 31,140,484. And as of 14th of April 2023, the contractor is yet to be paid a total sum of 4,962,881, which is due. Before the slowing down of the rate of works, the contractor had completed the major works on the structure, including the flanges, the top and the bottom slabs, and the deck before running into cash flow constraints. The contract was awarded to MES Regional Cost Mainter Limited on 9th July 2019 at a contract sum of 31,140,484 and 20 cents. The works commenced 7th November 2019 and were scheduled to be completed 12 months up to 7th November 2020 with defects liability period of 12 months. To date, 41 months have elapsed against an overall progress of approximately 55.75%, that being 314% of the contract period. An amount certified for payment is 12,462,881. Having completed major works on the structure, the contractor has been instructed to prioritize the backfilling and construction of the approach roads to Arombe Dispensary to allow public use, especially during the heavy rains. The ministry through Kera has also prioritized to provide budgetary provision to the project in the supplementary budget in the financial year 2022-2023. Mr. Speaker, unless Mr. Speaker, the question I left the expressway, and there is question 82 of 2023. No, 82, Mr. Speaker. 82, I think, is again related in terms of the pending roads. Mr. Speaker, the member of Nyatike, Honorable Tom Odege, Mr. Speaker, has asked a question that I need to respond on number 83 or 82 of 2023. Mr. Speaker, in relation to Masara, Sori, Okolomwok Road in Nyatike constituency. Mr. Speaker, and I'll respond as follows. The contract for the upgrading to bitumen standard and performance-based routine maintenance of Masara Sori Road was awarded to Seabird Engineering Service Limited on 6th November 2018. As members will realize, 2018, at a contract sum of $1,521,882,807.50. The works commenced on 3rd January 2019 and were scheduled to be completed in 30 months up to 3rd July 2021, with defects liability period of 12 months and a maintenance period of 36 months. To date, 51 months have elapsed, being 170% of contract period, against an overall progress of approximately 83.88%, with 28.98 kilometers of blacktop achieved out of the total scope of 41 kilometers. Of the 28.98 kilometers blacktop achieved by the contractor, works totaling 20.5 kilometers were successfully taken over by the employer carer and are currently under performance-based routine maintenance contract. Currently, the contractor is owed $286,844,972.06 in lieu of works done, and they slowed down the rate of work on site effective December 2021. The contractor slowed down the rate of work on site is currently operating at 5% of the initial work program due to financial constraint attributed to delayed payment of pending IPCs, which affect the cash flow. To date, the amount certified for payment is $936,564,590.59. This is being 62% of the contract sum of the $1,521,882,807.50. And as of 14th April 2023, the contractor is yet to be paid a total of $286,844,972.06 for IPC 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, and 14. Further, the road section within Luanda Konyango area traverses a swampy section which floods during heavy rains, and the road has been substantially raised and provided with several cross culverts to vent the water flow. However, the contractor could not complete the backfilling of the culverts, which was to be done in rock fill due to cash crunch. The contractor has been instructed to prioritize these works to enable the public to use the raised road section during flooding season pending completion of the works. The ministry through KERA has provided a provision of $141,525,000 in the supplementary budget of this financial year for the project, and once there is an exchequer release of funds and payment is made, the contractor shall resume works immediately. Given the financial constraint experienced by the contractor due to delayed payment, the applied extension of time of 582 days so far is under evaluation. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, on that matter is the question by Honorable Gideon Mulyung of Mwingi Central on the question of the road of Mwingi Slaughterhouse Road. Mr. Speaker, the construction of Mwingi Slaughterhouse Road was done as part of the project for construction of upgrading to bitumen standard of 3.
Mr. Speaker, you stopped me before I asked that question. So the CS is answering before asking, yes. For purposes of the hazard. Yeah. Thank you.
Question 083.
083.
Mwingi Slaughterhouse.
No, not that one.
That's the one he was answering.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've seen it. It is